Hi love, welcome to my channel. My name is Zen Jen, your meditation, mindfulness, spiritual wellness, holistic bestie. I just filmed this entire video for about 35 minutes outside, and my camera was doing this weird focus, not focus thing, and the footage is completely unusable. So here we are inside doing it again, and for some reason I'm sweating even though I'm inside, and I wasn't sweating when I was outside, but it's warmer outside. So I think I just need a minute. Before we get into this video, I just want to cut in with a disclaimer that this is not me telling you that you should go do Kambo or get your hands on this sacred medicine or anything like that. I'm simply sharing my experience and what I felt and did during this ceremony. This is in no way telling you to go do it. This is simply me sharing my experience. Okay, now let's get into it. 2 weeks ago, I went down to Santa Teresa, Costa Rica, and I did a Kambo ceremony. This was about a 3-hour, 45-minute drive from where I live, and I went down to see my friend Alyssa and to do a Kambo ceremony. My friend Alyssa is a Kambo facilitator, so I was really excited to do this with her because I super trust her. I feel super safe with her, and she just seemed like the person that I would want to have my first experience with Kambo with. If you haven't seen it already, I did an entire video of all of the preparation that I did in order to do this ceremony, because there is some specific foods to eat and to not eat. I was writing out my intentions and just what I did in the days leading up to it to prepare for the ceremony. So if you haven't watched that video already, go check it out. It's on my channel. It's the video right before this. I took some time before I filmed this video after my Kambo ceremony. Like I said, I did it about 2 weeks ago. And the reason I wanted to take time is because I really wanted to integrate. I really wanted to use the lessons that I learned and just see how they played out in my life for a couple of weeks before I made this video and shared it with the entire world. So that's why I took a little bit of time in order to film this, and I'm really glad that I did, because I was able to see how Kambo showed up in my life after doing the ceremony just in these couple of weeks. If you don't know, Kambo is a South American sacred ritual that is used to purge, to cleanse, and to heal the body. During the ceremony, you use the poisonous secretions from the giant monkey frog, and that is applied to your body, and that is what's used in this sacred ritual. It's what's used in this ceremony, and it's what does all of the cleansing and all of the healing. I first learned of Kambo probably a couple of years ago at this point, and honestly, when I first heard about it, I was like, no, I don't think I'm ready to do that right now. It didn't feel right at that point in my life. And I was like, maybe at some point in the future. I wasn't putting any pressure on myself to do it. I was like, if the opportunity comes up and it feels right, then I will definitely go for it. But just at that point, when I first learned about it, I was like, no, I don't really feel like this is something I'm needing in my life right now. Fast forward to the beginning of this year, January, February time, it came up again with a few of my friends, and I was like, you know what? I feel like I'm kind of getting ready. I feel like my time is coming. I'm starting to feel called to this medicine, not in this moment, but maybe in the future. Fast forward again, a few weeks, a month out from my 30th birthday, I was like, this feels really right. This is something that I want to do to celebrate my 30th birthday, and this is something that I want to do to move into my new decade. This birthday felt really pivotal for me, and I wanted to not only celebrate all of the healing and the growth and all of the crap that I went through in my 20s to get to this point. I wanted to celebrate that, but then also celebrate all that's to come and all that I'm open to in my next decade of life. So going into this ceremony, I felt so excited. I felt so ready. If you watch my Kambo preparation video, you will see just how excited I was. I was absolutely beaming. I could not wait. I was so ready, so excited. I was so locked into doing all of the preparations I needed to do it, without even batting an eye. So excited. And then truthfully, the day of, I didn't really feel any big emotions. I felt so grounded. I felt so present. I felt so in my purpose of just this is what I'm supposed to be doing right now, that I didn't have any big emotions of excitement or big emotions of nervousness. I was truly just so ready, and I felt so calm. I felt so grounded. I was just yeah, this is what I'm supposed to do today. This feels so good. It feels so right. I just woke up and was all right, let's do this. We did it in her apartment, and her apartment's in the middle of the jungle, and it was such a vibe. It was raining, which felt so right, because it just felt like it was adding to the cleansing that this ceremony and this ritual was bringing me. To set it up, she set it up in a super cute little area. She laid down a little like tapestry blanket sort of thing, and then she had the Kambo medicine, she had cleansing herbs, she had incense, she had hape, and then she also told me that I could bring anything I wanted from my altar as well that I would want to have with me throughout the ceremony. So I ended up bringing a bunch of crystals, and when I was picking out what crystals to bring, I was like, this one, okay, and this one, and this one. So I actually ended up having like a good amount of crystals with me, and I just laid them out next to me. And then I also brought my intentions that I wrote down, which you can see in my prep video as well. So when we sat down and before we started anything, Alyssa was like, do you have any questions about anything that's gonna happen? And I was like, honestly, like, I have no idea what's going to happen. I knew going into it that this is a purging ritual, so there was going to be a lot of purging, but like, I didn't really know anything else. I was just like, this is what I'm supposed to do right now. Like, can you fill me in? So she ran through kind of like the steps and what was going to happen. And like, truly none of it made me feel worried. None of it made me feel scared. And it was nice to kind of like get tidbits, you know, like if this happens during the ceremony, it's totally normal. It's totally fine. You are fine. Gave me kind of like the lowdown. And again, like no nerves, nothing, just like so grounded and like, okay, yeah, that sounds good. And then we started with the entire ceremony. We started with Alyssa cleansing the space, cleansing me and her, cleansing the tools. And then once that cleansing was over, we did some hape. And I have done hape before. I've done it in like a few different settings, so this isn't something that was new to me. I've never had someone facilitate it to me before, so that was like a cool experience. Alyssa blew it into my nose, and in this moment, the hape just made me feel even more grounded. It made me feel more connected to the ceremony, more connected to the medicine, which we hadn't even touched yet, just more present. And when I say present, I mean like fully present with my body, fully present with everything that I was feeling, and not allowing any sort of like shame or guilt come up. I was really just like living within curiosity and accepting anything and everything that came to the surface, which I feel like was a really good mental space and a really good mindset to be in going into the ceremony. So after we did the cleansing and we did the hape to kind of settle in, Alyssa guided me through a meditation, and like, I dropped in just like that. Like, I was so ready and fully just dropped into the meditation and was here and was present. I know I'm saying these words a lot, but it's just like those were the biggest things that I was feeling. And it's just like this huge sense of peace and calm and just like knowing everything is going to be okay and knowing that this is what you're supposed to be doing. So during the meditation, it was designed to connect you to the medicine, connect you to the frog, and also set your intentions. Immediately when she had me picture the frog to connect with the giant monkey frog, I immediately saw 3 like stacked on top of each other. And I was like, that's crazy, because another part of this meditation was to connect with your intuition and the medicine to see how much of the medicine you are needing during the ceremony, and also like where on your body should the medicine go. So immediately I connected to the frog and it popped up like boop, 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 like right in front of me. And I was like, dang, okay, like before Alyssa even asked, like, I'm doing 3. I guess I'm doing 3 pieces of that medicine. And then she asked me where on my body I wanted to accept the medicine. Immediately, like, I started to feel like tingling and a little bit of warmth right here. And so I was like, okay, yeah, like on my arm, shoulder-ish area, that's where I'm supposed to receive this medicine. I felt so locked in. Like, I was like, there's no questioning, like the medicine and my intuition, like everyone's speaking to me right now. Like, I had no questions whatsoever. 3 frogs right here on my arm. And you might be able to see I put some ointment on it. I still have like 3 little white dots. I do have a picture of what it looks like a few days after, so I will put that picture in this video as well. And then after all of that, she had me speak my intentions in my mind. And the crazy thing is, going into it, I probably wrote down like 3 or 4 things that I wanted to release, you know, like limiting beliefs, blocks, those kind of things. And then 3 or 4 things that I wanted to call in after releasing those blocks. Essentially, like what I wanted to call in is what those blocks were preventing me from calling in. It was so crazy because when she told me to speak the intentions in my mind, I spoke my first intention and then I was ready to speak the next 2 or 3, and it was literally like, no, like you're cut off. Like that is all we need to focus on. That's why you're here, solely this one purpose. And I'm not going to share like what my intention was, just because that's like really private and intimate to me. I will say it's something that I have been dealing with, I would say, for like the last like 7 years or so. And I just felt like I've done so much work on my own and I've done so much healing, but there was still some like pretty hefty blockages in my body because of this limiting belief. And I was so ready to get help from the Kambo medicine in order to release it. Those other things that were on my intentions list, like apparently they just weren't as important in this moment, and that was totally fine. So as I tried to speak my other ones and just couldn't, I was like, okay, this is what we're focusing on. And that's totally fine. Just going again with that like curiosity, no shame, no judgment, just like, this is what we're focusing on. End of the day, that's it. Then I came out of the meditation. After the meditation is when she applied the medicine. And the way that the medicine is applied is essentially like you burn your skin. And this was not painful in any way. I can't remember what the tool was that she used. She definitely told me the name of it in the moment, but I don't remember it. Essentially, she like lit it, and then really quick, I would take a deep breath in. And as I would breathe out, she would just right on my skin. And so she did that 3 separate times with 3 different breaths. What that does is it burns that layer of skin, and then she wipes away the blister that was forming on there. So we're like right able to get to the lymphatic system. And that's why you do all the preparation that you do, so your lymphatic system is open and the medicine can move through your body with ease without anything blocking it or getting in the way. So after she wiped away the blisters, she asked for permission to apply the medicine, both asking for permission from the medicine and from me as well. And then she applied it. She applied the 3 separate dots on my skin. She told me going into it what it was going to feel like when I first put it on, and I definitely felt that. And I'm glad that she told me, because I think I would have been freaking out a little bit. Because what happened after she applied it, the first maybe like 3 minutes or so, I started to get really warm, like very, very warm. My head felt like it was expanding. Like there was like a lot of pressure, like Jimmy Neutron head, kind of like that's what I felt like. And then I started to feel tingling in my fingers. I was really glad that she told me about the heart racing thing and about the pressure in my head, because those were the things that kind of like would have freaked me out, but I knew that it was totally normal. Alyssa was there the whole time for me. So she was reminding me to take deep breaths, to slow down, to connect to myself, and also reminding me to speak my intention. And so it was really, really great to have her there. Like I said, I felt just so safe with her and safe within this entire process because of her. I just really appreciated her being there for me and supporting me through this. And so after the first couple of minutes, that pressure in my head went away. I think I kind of stayed at a warm temperature. I wasn't like sweating or anything, but I was just flush. I did continue to have the tingling in my fingers though. And at one point the tingling moved up into my lips, and then throughout the rest of the ceremony, the tingling just moved down my body. It's like I could feel it running its course in the way the tingles moved throughout my body, which was really crazy. During the ceremony, I obviously did a lot of purging. Once kind of like the pressure was set to the side in my head and my heart rate, it went down, like then the nausea came. And I hate the feeling that you get right before you throw up. It is something that it just doesn't feel good. Like, I don't care who you are, it doesn't feel good. The only difference is that with this ceremony, like once you purge, it's not like, oh, I feel better. For a while, you're just purging and then you're like, oh, I should feel better. And maybe you feel like 10 seconds of relief, and then it's like, nope, it's coming back. At least this is what my experience was. So as I'm purging, Alyssa is like essentially cheering me on and is like, good, release, remember your intentions, da 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 da. There was one point in the middle of a purge that all of a sudden this voice just broke through, and it was like, I am so worthy. The voice, like, she was so excited and she fully felt it. It was like she was finally able to be heard for the first time. And even thinking about it now, like, it makes me feel so many things, because this was like a new belief that was able to break through, because I got rid of the limiting belief that was blocking it from being heard. This belief of I'm so worthy is no longer being muffled by the limiting belief that I was able to purge with this ceremony. So during the ceremony, there's definitely a lot of purging, and like Alyssa and I were like giggling after because my head was just like totally down in the bucket the whole time. Like no part of me wanted to lift my head up. Like I was just fully bent over the bucket, and that's what I wanted to do, and that was fine. There were 2 separate times, and she told me this might happen where like you may have to go to the bathroom, and so I did. And during all of this, I kept being like, this is so hard. This is so hard to let this go. And like, why is this so uncomfortable? Like, I can't do this. I'd rather just like stay within this mediocre portion of my life because it's so much easier to just stick with this limiting belief than to let it go because this is so painful. Like I would just rather keep it. And then something in me was like, just keep going. Like I know this is so hard right now, but once you release it, you're going to be so much better off. Once you let this belief go, you're going to be so much better off, and you're going to enjoy your life so much more. You're going to be filled with so much more love. And I just feel like that's a really good lesson to kind of learn throughout, that you can learn throughout your life, right? Like sometimes the things that you need to let go of are so difficult to let go of that it's scary and uncomfortable, so much so that you just don't even want to let it go, even though you know your life will be better after. And so it's just the lesson of like, no matter what, push through it. No matter what, do what you need to do in order to let that go, that person, that belief, that thing in your life, so that you can fully live within your purpose and you can fully live within yourself and who you're meant to be and who you can thrive to be. And when that voice broke through, it was like music to my ears. But even when it broke through, I knew I wasn't done in that moment. And when I knew that I was done, this is something Alyssa told me going into it, like, you're just gonna know like when it's time to take it off. I knew I was done because the tingling had moved all the way down to my feet. Like it had run its course throughout my whole body. And then there was just this voice in my head that was like, I'm done. And so then I just out loud was like, okay, I'm done. She asked to remove the medicine. She removed it. And it just is like a few minutes really for everything that you're feeling to kind of subside. There was this knot in my throat of nausea. And I was like, Alyssa, like, I need to get this out, but like, I can't get it out. But I know like the medicine isn't supposed to be on me. And so she was able to talk me through it. And once I got it out, it ended up just being like a big fat burp. And it was so funny. Like we were like giggling about it. And she's like, sometimes like that's just what it is. It's like, you don't even need to take any contents out of your body. It's just like one big fat burp. And so that was like how I finished the ceremony. Then after the ceremony, it was just chill time. I probably laid on the ground for like 20 minutes. I did start to feel a little cold because I didn't even realize like I was flushed during the ceremony. And so I was able to just lay down. Alyssa got me a blanket and I just chilled. It was still raining outside and there were so many windows surrounding me, so I could just like look around, and I chilled. And the rest of the day, it was just like a really chill day. And I felt so at peace. I felt like I had just taken a breath of fresh air. And I was also, when I was laying there, I was just so grateful. I was so grateful for the medicine and the way that it helped me and guided me through that ceremony. I was so grateful for my body and how strong it was in order to release all of that and to let all of that go. And I was so grateful for Alyssa for holding me through that and facilitating that. And just in general, I was so grateful for the ceremony and being there in that moment and being able to release that so that that voice could shine through and just scream at the top of her lungs, I'm so worthy, with so much excitement for finally being heard. It was truly such like an amazing experience. I'm so grateful for it. And a lot of people when I came back were asking me like, how did it go? So like, you were tripping, right? You were hallucinating. I'm like, no, like it's none of that. Like you're not hallucinating. You're not going on a trip. You're fully in control of your body. You're fully present. I would say I was the most present I might have ever been in my life. You're simply moving through a toxic belief, a limiting belief. You're moving it out of your body. And so that can be really intense. She said that I probably had the medicine on for maybe like 45 minutes or so. And so when you've been holding on to this limiting belief, like in my case for 7 years, getting rid of what's left of it in 40 minutes, that's really fast. That's really fast. And so it is uncomfortable, but you're not hallucinating. You're not tripping. It's simply a ceremony of cleansing and releasing and healing within your body. I've also had a few people ask me if I would do it again. The honest answer is like, yeah, I would. I just don't feel the need to do that right now. Like I don't feel the need to do it in the next week, the next month, the next year. I truly feel as though like this belief that I had been holding on to for the last 7 years, I was so ready to get help to release it. And I think that doing this ceremony, since it is so sacred, it's not something to be taken advantage of. It's not something to just do on a whim. I went in with this purpose and this intention of something that's been weighing me down for almost 10 years of my life, and I was looking for help in order to get rid of it. And I feel like when you go in with that mentality, it's a really great way to step into the ceremony in order to receive that help that you're looking for. I don't think this is something that I would just like do on a random Tuesday because something was bothering me. Like, I think this is really good sacred work for those deep limiting beliefs that are holding you back and that you've done so much work on, and there's still pieces of it that you just simply can't let go of. That's when I feel like this medicine is really good, but it's just not something to like be taken advantage of. So that was my first Kambo experience. If you have any more questions about this Kambo ceremony that I experienced, please feel free to leave them in the comments or send me a DM on Instagram. Feel free to follow me over on Instagram and TikTok and keep up with me over there. And if you're not already, please be sure to subscribe to my channel. It really helps a small creator like me. I want to grow this community. So go check out my other videos. I have everything from guided meditations to vlogs to this Kambo prep and ceremony. Thank you so much for watching. I'm sending you so much love.